Okay, this is part 2 on my composition mini demo. I'm going to be using Tombow markers called brush pens. They have a brush on one end and a point on the other end. I'm going to be going from light to dark, so I'll start with my very light one right here. Here's the scene. Once again, I have this up here to refer to so that I get a general feel for the average values of each area. Like this is really light sky back here. This is little darker mountain, and it gets a little darker as the mountain, the extra or new range of mountain comes down here. The fields are pretty light, the roof is light, this is dark, this is medium, and so forth like that. So come down here like this. Now I want to emphasize you don't have to use this exact procedure what I'm using. What I'm doing is breaking it down into steps. You can do that if you want to, but it's not usually a good idea to go doing a bunch of pencil lines and making a whole bunch of erasures in your drawing, or to break up the lines, since you might damage the paper. But I'm breaking it into steps so that it's clear and easy to follow. So I'm going to start here with the sky. I'm going to come in here and it's just going to be a general value study. These light markers always seem to dry faster than the dark ones for some reason. So we got that here. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come into this mountain area also. It's going to be a little darker, but what I'm doing is making sure that it blends, see? So through these openings here, these gateways, or these broken lines, openings in the line, I get a flow down through there. So these breaks here that I didn't draw in this black colored pencil serve to remind me what to do and what not to do. So I come in next, okay, it's handy, with a slightly darker one. This is another Tombow. So I'm going to come in here and do now this mountain range here, coloring basically a lot in the areas. And this one's just about out of goody as it is. Now, in a real value study, that line wouldn't be so prominent there. I'm doing it so you can see what I'm doing. I'm doing it. I put the line in there for that reason. I can make this come down in here too. I don't want to have to get another. See how dark this is. That's quite a bit darker. Let's see if I can do that. Using a little bit of spit, which I know is not too hygienic, but it works pretty well. To blend it in a little bit with the mountain up above there, see. You can see where I'm losing that line a little bit there. Okay, bringing this down here to this area here. To indicate a near mountain range. Now, you notice that what happens here is when we get down further, we're into a light area again here. So, I'm going back to my very light values to indicate that over there. And this works well for the roof because it'll just kind of flow into it there. Notice I haven't got real hard lines all the way along here or in this mountain back here. I can come in here and see if we can coax a little more color out of this light one here. Kind of fill that in, make it a little more effective as a value study. Yeah, here we go. Put that right there so we form the side of that barn. Okay, now we're coming down into the nearer area. I'm going to switch to this other one once again. Coming over here like this. Not all the way across. And then here, next to that barn, There, how's she looking? Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. Down here we're going to have some dark trees. Now this is going to be really dark right in here, so I'm just going to color that in, except right here where I want some flow, and right up here where I want some flow, and down into here. Flow here, flow here, flow here. You just go ahead and do these trees now. Differentiate them in a minute. Leave a little area there for a few lights so that the reader can see that there are trees in that area. Over here we also have our trees. Avoiding those areas where I want the flow. There, now, what I have to do is go through and blend those out a little bit so they don't look too weird. Coming down here to get this in there too. Let's see what kind of time we got. We're doing good. Alright, now down in the bottom here we also have another light area. Seeing if I can coax some out of this poor old Tombow. This would be kind of like an area of weeds going across the painting from left to right or so. I'm just going to have to invest in some more of these Tombow pens. I really like them because they're water soluble. They don't become waterproof quickly, drying quickly like a lot of markers do, which means you can modify them. There. Okay, now we have a little more to do, and that is that our barn, and we have plenty of going on the roof. This is our center of interest, so that's where I'm leaving most of the white paper. There, a little bit of white back here to highlight that barn, just a little bit, and we might put a little bit of dark here to show that end. Okay, now we're going to come in here. Let's see. This here is dark, as I'm looking at my photo. All this is dark. Not uniformly, but you have some dark shapes over here. There. Now we're starting to shape up. You can see how this is almost a painting already, really. It's very close. So I want to come in here now. Let's see, can you see that? Yes, you can see that. Do a little bit in these trees, because they're quite a bit darker. Come down here and work my way across. We have our trees going up here and over here. Like that. Okay, so now I'm not trying to do a perfect rendering here. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, and so that you can kind of get a feel for the fact that we have flow between these areas to make for a lovely painting. There. So what I did was I did a value study, and I'm not quite done yet. I need to do some of these trees. And skipping around the areas of flow between the very light house and the darker trees. So I want to have a bridging value between them there, basically. I'm pushing the limits of my paper a little bit here. There we go. There. Now I could throw some stuff down here and make it look a little bit more like a real weedy area. So let's see how she looks. There, you can see there's a nice flow up in here, and nothing is really that self-contained, that the areas seem to flow between them. You can see it's looking a little more effective. Now, if I wanted to make it really realistic, and or more realistic than it is right now, and differentiate between those areas quite a bit more, I could get a darker one here, see, and come down and build my values just a little bit more. Sort of like that. Maybe right over here too, coming out here, flowing out into the trees from the side of the barn. Like that. So, hopefully that lesson will stick and you will like what you see here and try it out yourself, because it can really make for a nice painting. Notice how this is almost painted. All you do is you add color, and that's a major consideration that we'll get into one of these days soon. Add color to this and you've got a painting, because you've got the major decisions figured out ahead of time. That's it for now, and the next one will be on good shapes and dominance in your painting.